Hey everybody, Daniel here, and thank you for tuning in to this Pokemon challenge to see if we can beat Pokemon Emerald using only a single Wailmer. I thought Wailmer would make for an interesting challenge because, as a lot of you probably know, the 3rd gen games have a lot of water Pokemon, including the Elite Four, so we won't really have a type advantage throughout a lot of the game. Also, Wailmer is one of my favorite Pokemon. Look how cute he is, he's like a little sea puppy. Wailmer has fairly good base stats, pretty high special and amazing health, but he's slow and has awful special defense. Considering most moves from his weaknesses, Grass and Electric, are special, moves like Thunderbolt will hurt bad. By level up, Wailmer doesn't really learn much to cover his type weaknesses, so we probably need to learn some TMs to help out, like an Earthquake or Ice Beam. His moves are pretty decent, but lacks a strong, reliable stab move, so we'll probably learn Surf. Also, he starts off with no attacking moves, which is going to be a very difficult part of this run. For comparison, here is Wailmer against the starters. Wailmer has 2 to 3 times their health, but that's definitely needed as his special defense and his defense are pretty much worse than all 3. He ties Mudkip for attack, but he's a special attacker. Also, it's important to remember all the starters evolve twice. Even against the final evolutions, we can see Wailmer still has a strong health advantage, but he ties Swampert for worse speed. And his attack is pretty underpowered now against the other's primary attack stat. Here's a look at Wailmer against Gen 3 Pokemon in Emerald. Wailmer is in the middle, or a little higher. Wailmer only evolves once, so I suspect he can handle his own until we start battling 3rd stage Pokemon. For this run, we can only use Wailmer. We'll have to catch other Pokemons for HMs like Strength and Cut to advance, but we'll never use them in battle. We can give Wailmer a held item like a berry, but we can't use items on him during battle like a potion. Leave a comment saying whether you think we can do this. I'm interested to read whether you think we can do it and how difficult it'll be. Also, a level 5 Wailmer has no attacking moves, so let me know in the comments how you think we're going to be dealing with this. I'd really love to know your thoughts. First off, we use the Universal Pokemon Randomizer, and we replaced Mudkip with Wailmer, so that way it's like we took the Water starter, and our rival will take Trico, making it more difficult early on. I tried this run and then I realized that until you defeat your rival, you can't move on, so that's a roadblock already. We have to defeat May. So, Wailmer doesn't learn an attacking move until level 10, when he learns Water Gun. So we need to double our level without even being able to attack. When a Pokemon runs out of power points, they start using the typeless move called Struggle, which is like a very weak double edge, where it does a bit of damage and causes recoil damage to the user. Between Splash and Growl, we have 80 power points we need to use up before we can use Struggle. That alone is going to take some time. On top of that, we're only level 5, and have low health, and Struggle causes recoil damage. If we get too low on health and visit the Pokemon Center, it'll replenish our health and our power points. You start off the game with about $3,000, which is enough to buy exactly 10 potions. I think you know where this is going. Let me know how long you think this will take me. It's important to note that if we run out of potions, that's it. Game over, we have to restart entirely. I found level 2 Wurmples who use Tackle and String Shot to use up my power points. Anything higher than level 2 might have caused us too much damage when they use attacking moves, like Scratch or Tackle. Level 2 Wurmple's Tackle does 1 less damage than a level 3, and we need all the health we can get. Eventually, we use all our power points, and heal up with potions and start struggling. This is where the actual challenge begins. I wish I could say this was my first attempt at the challenge. Sometimes the Wurmple landed a critical hit, or if we won't get the full 20 health points from the potion, we held off and risked it, and died and had to start the challenge all over again. We struggle against Pokemon until we get dangerously low health and heal up with a potion. It took about 40 minutes, but eventually we struggle against enough Pokemon and get to level 10, where we learn our first attacking move, Water Gun. We just continued on with the grind and leveled up a bit more before facing May. She was easy to beat, and now after this challenge we can actually start the real challenge. By the time we fight May, we're already twice her level, so Water Gun does a lot of damage. We Water Gun Trico and he uses Leer, and after a couple more Water Guns we make quick work of Trico and we gain some nice experience defeating May. After May, we go through Pellberg Woods. We grow to level 14 and learn Rollout, which is a powerful rock move which gets stronger each time it lands and could come in handy later. I have a feeling that the fans of Pokemon Gold and Silver are probably getting PTSD from Whitney's Miltank right now. I definitely am. We keep moving through the forest and reach Rustboro City. You can see me picking out Leppa berries, which I had to do a lot. Picking them up and planting and watering them so that way we can restore our power points between fights during the Elite Four. Finally, we can fight for our first gym badge. We face Roxanne, and this battle goes about as well as you'd expect using a water Pokemon. Roxanne sends out 2 Geodudes, and both of them go down with 1 super effective Water Gun. Nosepass is stronger than Geodude, so it takes 2 wire guns, but she's easily defeated, earning us our first badge, the Stone Badge. After receiving the Pokénav, we run into our rival again. Using Rollout, we easily take care of Wingull, because Wingull's flying type is weak against rock. Against Trico, we land a second stage Rollout, hurting it while he lands an Absorb, but he stands no chance against a third stage Rollout, and I start to gain some confidence about this run. Now we speak to Mr. Briny and set sail for Dewford Town. We get to Dewford Town to challenge the gym leader Brawly. First out is Machop, and we hurt him with Wire Gun and he lands a critical Karate Chop taking about 1/3 our health. We follow up and finish him with Wire Gun and Brawly sends out Meditite. Meditite just focuses while we land a Wire Gun and ruin his focus. We land another Wire Gun, bring him to low health, and he uses a Light Screen to increase his special defense. Brawly fully heals using a Super Potion, and because of Light Screen, our Wire Gun does probably half as much damage as before. 3 times in a row, Meditite starts focusing, we land a Wire Gun and ruin his focus. We get him to very low health again and Light Screen wears off, but Brawly heals with another Super Potion. We land 2 Wire Guns getting Meditite down to low health and he uses another Light Screen. We finish with a Wire Gun. It was an easy battle, just tedious, and we grow to level 23. Against his Makuhita, our Wire Gun doesn't do very much damage. We land 2 while he uses 2 Bulk Ups. At this point we're actually out of Wire Gun, and he hits us with a reversal. We switch to Rollo, and he lands a supercharged Vial Throw and knocks us out, handing us our first loss. I know we won't be able to take Brawly down right now, so we go battle Team Aqua until we reach level 25. We rematch Brawly, and with 2 Wire Guns we put Machop down while absorbing a low kick. Meditite is out, and a Wire Gun brings it down to yellow health. It wastes a turn with Bulk Up, and we finish it with another Wire Gun, receiving no damage. Without Light Screen like last battle, Wire Gun does a lot of damage against Makuhita. His Vial Throw doesn't hurt that much, but he nearly fully heals with the berry. We use Wire Gun, while he just uses Bulk Up, and goes down with 1 more, defeating Brawly who awards us with our Knuckle Badge. We harvest and plant a few more Leppa berries, as we'll definitely be needing these later on. We head to the Oceanic Museum in Slateport City, liberating it from Team Aqua in a few fights. Nothing too special this part of the game, just defeating these enemies and moving from city to city. Heading north from Slateport, we walk under the bicycle path and it's time for another rival battle as we face May again. We start off against level 18 Wingull, and we burn it down easily with a super effective rollout and grow to level 29. Grovyle is out next and uses a super effective Absorb, and we hit him with a rollout. We exchange Absorb and rollout again, putting him down. Last out is Slugma, but we miss rollout getting hit by a rock throw, but 1 Wire Pulse easily finishes it, defeating May. We face Wally in Mauville City, and I didn't know whether to even include this battle, because we take out Ralph with just a single Wire Pulse. Next up is Mauville Gym, and we face Watson, the electric gym leader. We outspeed Voltorb, hitting Wire Pulse, and Voltorb takes a chunk of our health with Spark, and paralyzes us before self-destructing on his next turn. Electrike uses Howl, and gets down to red health from a Wire Pulse, but Watson uses a Super Potion. Since we're paralyzed, Electrike goes first and knocks us out with the Shockwave. Second attempt. We Wire Pulse and receive a Shockwave. Watson heals Voltorb with a Super Potion, but we put Voltorb down with Wire Pulse. We one-shot Electrike with Wire Pulse this time. For Magneton, we land a lucky critical Wire Pulse, taking it out on the first shot. Manectric outspeeds us using Howl, and we land a Wire Pulse confusing it. He hurts himself in confusion, and we hurt him badly with Wire Pulse, almost finishing it. Manectric heals with the berry and snaps out confusion, landing Shockwave, hurting us badly, and we bring him back down with Wire Pulse. The next person to land a move will win, so naturally Watson uses a Super Potion. We confuse Manectric again with Wire Pulse. He hurts himself in confusion and finish it off with Wire Pulse, earning us the Dynamo Badge. Suddenly I'm not feeling so good about this run. Mount Chimney with Fire and Hiker trainers are a nice experience, because they're some of the only trainers in the game where we have a type advantage over them, with their teams consisting of mostly Geodudes and Numels. After going through Meteor Falls, we're now back to Mount Chimney again, facing Team Magma, where we get some easy experience against all the fire Pokemon they're using. We face Magma Leader Maxie, who is pretty easy since we're almost twice his level. With Mightyena, we need a few Wire Pulses since Maxie heals him with the Super Potion, but no real challenge. Zubat is a joke going down in one shot, and we easily take down Camerupt with Wire Pulse, saving the mountain. Time for our battle against Lava Ridge Gym Leader Flannery. Wailmer finishes her Water Pokemon quickly, putting Numel's Fire out with Wire Pulse. Slugma comes out and we Wire Pulse, growing to level 43. A 4-time super effective Wire Pulse takes down Camerupt. Torkoal just barely survives a Wire Pulse and hits us with a weak Body Slam, but paralyzes Wailmer. Naturally, Flannery heals with the Hyper Potion and we're paralyzed. We Wire Pulse and bring her to half health, and Torkoal uses Attract on us, and we can't move. Another Body Slam, but eventually we hit just 1 more Wire Pulse to finish her off, and we earn our Heat Badge. May gives us our Go goggles, and we explore the desert ruins in Mirage Tower. The desert is another great place for us to train and earn some good experience against lots of ground Pokemon like Sandslash. It has no bearing on the game, but I figured everyone would want to know. So we take the Claw Fossil, since I like Anorith more than Lily, and then the Mirage Tower crumbles to dust. We make our way back to Pelberg and stop in to say hi to our dad Norman and challenge him. The normal type of gym leader flow happens here. We Water Pulse Spinda, it gets down to red health, it confuses us, and before we can finish it off, Norman uses the Hyper Potion. Thanks Dad. After confusion passes, we finish Spinda. We hit Vigoroth with Water Pulse, nearly finishing him, and he uses Slash. We finish him with one more, and Linoon plays out nearly identical. Now the big kahuna slacking. We use Water Pulse and confuse it right away, and he hurts himself. We hit again and slacking loafs around. We get his health low, and he breaks out of confusion hitting us, and Norman uses the Hyper Potion. Eventually, after more back and forth with Water Pulse and Facade, we finally defeat Dad, and earn our Balance Badge. This part of the game has a lot of surfing through water-only routes. We spend an hour visiting the different areas, and stop and visit in the abandoned ship, so we can get TM13 for Ice Beam, which will come in handy later. And just south of Slateport, we surf around and collect this power point up, which we'll definitely need for the Elite Four. I just want to point out how this is my favorite part of Emerald and top areas in all of Pokemon. Something about this grassy area with the rain and the lightning, and the Weather Institute with the weather patterns, is very nostalgic for me, and the research tracking the legendary Pokemon feels like a movie, like The Day After Tomorrow tracking the impending doom. It's a really cool area of the game. In the Weather Institute, we take down Aqua Admin Shelly pretty easily using Surf, saving all the researchers. We leave the Weather Institute and May blocks our path, so we battle her. First up is level 29 Slugma, who stands no chance and goes down to Water Pulse. We get a critical Water Pulse, bringing Grovyle down to red health. Grovyle hurts us badly with a Leaf Blade, but goes down to one more shot. Last out is Lombre, he uses Fake Out, flinching us. Water Pulse doesn't do much damage, and she uses Swift. We Water Pulse, and she uses a weak Absorb. Lombre keeps healing after each turn using Absorb, but after a few exchanges and Water Pulses, we defeat May. Finally, after lots of story, we move to Fort Tree City and battle Winona, the flying gym leader. The Ice Beam we got from the abandoned ship is totally worth it, as it plows through Swablu, giving quadruple normal damage against the dragon flying Pokemon, and quad damage against the grass flying Pokemon Tropius. Ice Beam almost finishes Pelipper, and thankfully it misses Supersonic, or we could have had real issues. Winona uses a Hyper Potion, but we follow up with 2 more Ice Beams. We Ice Beam Skarmory and absorb Aerial Ace, and we're one shot from victory, so naturally Winona uses a Hyper Potion, but we do finish with more Ice Beams. We're running low, only 2 left, but Altaria has 4 times weakness to Ice, so Altaria goes down one shot, earning us the Feather Badge. After surfing, we reach Mount Pyre and battle a couple of Team Aqua grunts again, and get the Magma emblem. Before leaving, we battle some trainers and find the Sea Incense, which gives us a boost to water moves, because we'll need as much help as we can get against the Elite Four. Before moving on to the Magma Hideout, we stop and collect a few items, like the Power Point Ups to maximize how many times we can use a move, and Lepa Berries to replenish Power Points between battles in the Elite Four. We find Magma Leader Maxie, who uses the Orb and awakens Groudon. We battle Maxie, out first is Mightyena, who we put down with Surf. We finish off Crobat with Ice Beam, and Camerupt comes out and we surf and continue on to save the world. After some surfing around, we finally make it to Moss Deep Gym, where we face the gym leaders. Yes, that's right, I said gym leaders. For anyone who said we can't beat this game with just one Wailmer, yes, you were technically correct. I discovered that the game won't let me do a 2-on-1 against Liza and Tate. I tried it here. Since we definitely won't be stopping the run here, we go and get our level 13 HM Pokemon Nincada to join us in the battle. I got Nincada poisoned and down to 1 health, so he will faint immediately in battle, and he uses Harden on his turn, so he has no impact on the battle. Wailmer uses Surf against Claydol and Xatu. Xatu takes out Nincada with Psychic, so now Wailmer is in a 2-on-1 battle, and Claydol uses Earthquake. Thankfully we have good typing against Claydol, who is Rock, and Xatu, who's Flying. Another Surf takes out Claydol and weakens Xatu. Xatu uses Sunny Day and is immediately healed with a Hyper Potion. We Surf, which is 50% weakened by Sunny Day, so we don't do as much damage on Solrock as I hoped, and Xatu takes a hit easily. Solrock uses a weak Psychic. I decide to use Ice Beam to take out Xatu, so that way they send out Lunatone, so we can try nailing both the Sun and the Moon with a super effective Surf. Surf almost takes down Solrock and does less than I wanted against Lunatone. Thanks to Sunny Day, Solrock can use Solar Beam immediately and hurts Wailmer badly. Lunatone also uses Calm Mind, so Surf will do even less. Surf takes out Solrock, but we get finished with Psychic. Lunatone had a lot of health left, and we lost by a large margin. We need to train more. We go grind in Mount Pyre because there's Gravelers and Torquils we can easily take out for good experience. After a little over an hour and a half of failed gym attempts and mountain grinding, Wailmer gets a nice experience. We get an Encada and try to bring him back down to 1 health again to bring him into the gym battle. We get 1 health point, but this Tentacruel constricts and doesn't let us escape. We encounter another Tentacool, and she uses Poison Sting immediately, poisoning Encada. We manage to run away, and we just walk around to get his health down to 1 health point again, constantly checking it. And then we cure his poison, so that way he will be as useless as possible in the gym fight. And now we face Liz and Tate again for the second time. Wailmer uses Surf, and Encada just hardens. Surf does a lot of damage, and we should only need 2 Surfs to take them both out. Xatu hits Encada with Psychic, and Claydol hits us with Earthquake. Tay and Liz use the Hyper Potion on Claydol, and we finish Xatu with Ice Beam. We switch back to Surf, and do great damage on Claydol, and even take out Soul Rock while we take a weak Earthquake. They heal Claydol again with the Hyper Potion, but Surf brings them both back down to red health, while Lunatone sets up a light screen. Naturally, they heal Claydol for the 3rd time, and their light screen really weakens how much damage our Surf does, but it's enough to take out Lunatone. One more Surf and Claydol finally goes down, and we earn our 7th badge, the Mind Badge. After battling Aqualia Archie, we watch him awaken Kyogre using the Orb, and a rainstorm takes over Hoenn, which I personally find really cool. We enter an epic battle scene in Pokemon Gaming, where the legendaries go at it like brother and sister. After a ton of surfing on the ocean, and battling and collecting items, we climb to the top of the Sky Pillar, and wake Rayquaza to go rescue the world. As he comes down, it sends Groudon and Kyogre back to their caves. Now we're on to Sootopolis Gym and battle Juan. First up is Love Disc, and we have almost 30 levels on most of his Pokemon, so the battle isn't too rough. We Ice Beam her and do good damage, and switch to Rollout, missing while she uses Attract. For 3 straight turns, we're immobilized by Love, but after we land a Rollout, finishing her. Whiscash is out and we miss Rollout. He's really bad typing for us, and Stage 1 Rollout hardly hurts him. He gets off 3 amnesias, raising his special like crazy, so we rely heavily on Rollout since it's physical. He uses a weak Earthquake, and Juan uses the Hyper Potion, but the 4th successful Rollout one-shots it. A 5th full-strength Rollout absolutely decimates Celio. We start another Rollout, landing a critical on Crawdon. He lands a Crab Hammer, and we take him down despite a Hyper Potion. Kingdra is out, and it's the same story, getting knocked out with a crazy strong Rollout, earning us the final Hoenn Gym Badge, the Rain Badge. We reach Sky Pillar again, where Rayquaza returned to rest, and it's time to capture Rayquaza to help us out during the Elite Four, since it's level 70 and a strong legendary. Although, we can only use Wailmer, so let's defeat it. We use Ice Beam, which Rayquaza is 4 times weak against, except he hits us with a critical Outrage and one-shots us. We could move on now, but it's just a matter of revenge and pride. We surf from Pacifidlog back to Sky Pillar. Rayquaza uses Fly and we miss Ice Beam. It hits Fly, but our next Ice Beam takes it out. You have no idea how painful it was for me to purposely defeat a legendary. Rayquaza is one of my favorite Pokemon, and I think this was legitimately my first time in 15 years not trying to capture it. In Victory Road, we find Wally and have our final battle with him. First up is level 44 Altaria, who goes down with 1 quad super effective Ice Beam. Surprisingly, Surf one-shots Magneton, someone I was pretty worried about at first. We Ice Beam Roselia, taking him down in 1 shot, and Surf one-shots Delcatty. We hurt Gardevoir with Surf, and Wally heals up Gardevoir with a full restore. We hurt him again and Wally uses another full restore, but we keep spamming Surf until we drown it. We finally see daylight again, as we emerge from Victory Road, arriving at Evergrande City. Now we begin the Elite Four, so let me know how you think this is gonna go. And we face our first Elite Four member, Sydney, the Dark-type trainer. First is a level 46 Mightyena, who cuts her attack, but easily goes down with a Surf. Cacturne is next, and a super effective critical Ice Beam handles it pretty easily, followed by Shiftry, also going down to Ice Beam. Against Crawdon, we use Surf, which isn't effective, but it's our strongest attack, and thankfully we land a critical hit. Using Surf, we also take out Absol easily. I know we're almost twice their level, but it was still easier than I expected, so looking good. Next up is Phoebe, the Ghost-type trainer. Level 48 Dusclops is out first, and she uses Protect, so our Surf misses, but we follow up hitting the next, taking her down. And it's actually the same story for all of Phoebe's Pokemon, Bayonet 1, Bayonet 2, Sableye, and Dusclops. Wailmer takes them all out with Surf, and with that we defeat Phoebe. We move on to the Ice-type trainer Glacia. First out is level 50 Celio, and we start using Rollout because Rock is super effective against all her Ice Pokemon. As long as we don't miss too much, the later stage Rollouts will deal massive damage. She starts a Hailstorm and we take her down. A 3rd stage rollout hits and one-shots Glalie easily. Another Celio is out, and she's destroyed by a 4th stage rollout. 5th stage one-shots Glalie, and we move on to the last Pokemon. We start a rollout again, doing a bit of damage against Walrein, and take a weak Ice Beam. One more rollout and Ice Beam, and we're both down to yellow health. Walrein uses a berry, and we land the next rollout, taking her down, and move on to the final of the Elite Four. Now we battle Drake, the Dragon-type trainer. Shelgon uses Protect, so we miss Ice Beam, but land the next, taking him down. We take Altaria out with an Ice Beam as well, with it being 4 times super effective. We use Ice Beam on Kingdra, bringing him down to almost half health, and he uses Surf. We switch the rollout for Kingdra, and he uses another Surf. We're one shot away from victory when Drake uses a full restore, but a 3rd and 4th stage rollout finishes Kingdra. Out is Flygon, and a very strong rollout one-shots it. Last out is Salamence, and Wailmer dismantles him with a 4 times super effective Ice Beam, defeating the Elite Four. That's it, only the champion Wallace is left. We're level 81, which is 23 levels stronger than his strongest Pokemon. I'm pretty happy with our attack and special attack. Our health will help us withstand a strong hit, so I'm feeling pretty confident. Now it's time for Wallace. First out is level 57 Wailord. We start powering up a rollout while he makes it rain. We hit again and he uses Double Edge. A critical hit means Wailord goes down now, and we have a very strong rollout waiting for the next Pokemon. Ludicolo uses Leech Seed, so we're going to keep losing health each turn, which is really bad. That rollout, however, takes Ludicolo down in one shot, which is good. Tentacruel comes out, and we land a strong rollout one-shotting him too. At this point, we're halfway through the battle when he sends out his strongest Pokemon, Milotic. Milotic badly poisons us with a Toxic, so we won't last long now. With Toxic and Leech Seed sapping our health, we miss a rollout and get surfed. We land a weak rollout and get finished off with Surf. About an hour and a half of grinding on Victory Road, we get to level 85 and give it another shot. Sydney again, who is naturally even easier this time. Surf and Ice Beam take care of him pretty quickly. Crawdaunt was tough because Sydney used a full restore twice, but eventually we got him down. Absol goes down with one Surf just like before. Now we rematch with Phoebe. Surf and Ice Beam take all of her Pokemon down pretty easily in just a few minutes. Against Glacia, it's also easier than before. We just use Rolla again and take out her entire team in just over 2 minutes. Rematch time with Drake. I'd like to describe the battle more, but it's the same as last time, just spamming Ice Beam mostly, and dealing massive ice damage against his Dragon and Flying team. Now we made it all the way to Wallace again. We start off good, hitting Wailord with 3 rollouts, so we have a strong 4th ready to go against Ludicolo. Unfortunately, Ludicolo outspeeds us using Double Team, and we miss. By the time we switch to Ice Beam, he uses another. A 3rd Double Team, and we still manage to take him down, although Leech Seed is really hurting us. Tentacruel hits us with heavy Sludge Bombs doing good damage and poisons us. Then pair with Leech Seed like last time, we don't last long. After almost 2 hours of grinding, we get to level 90 and we're facing Phoebe using Rollout, and her Celio lands a critical Body Slam on its 2nd attack, which paralyzes Wailmer. Continuing to use Rollout, we thankfully don't get paralyzed often and knock out her 2 Celios and a Glalie with strong rollouts. But against the final Glalie, the hail damage we took and being slower thanks to paralysis proves to be too much for Wailmer. We've been battling the Elite Four and grinding in Victory Road for over 4 hours, so now for Wailmer's final levels, I decide to use all the rare candies we've been collecting and give it another shot at level 98. Sydney's up first, and his Pokemon are no match for Wailmer anymore, who one-shots the entire team using Surf and Ice Beam in just over 60 seconds. We rematch Phoebe. Dusclops uses Protect, which is annoying, but Wailmer steamrolls her entire team, drowning them with Surf, and we only even get hit once. Glacia is fairly easy. We Surf and take a chunk of Celio's health and start a rollout, completely clearing our way through Glalie. Thankfully Celio misses a track, but it lands the next one. Even Celio's Blizzard hardly hurts us. Still, a couple rollouts and all her ice Pokemon go down. We miss a few rollouts and take a lot of hail damage, but still manage to defeat her. Drake rematch time. Shelgon protects itself by her 2nd Ice Beam lands, we finish it, and then take down Altaria too. Against Kingdra we Surf and then use Rollout a few times, and just before the final blow, Drake uses a full restore. The next shot would have knocked it out full health anyway, but it missed. Thankfully his Body Slams don't do too much, and he goes down. We missed a strong rollout against Flygon, but easily take Flygon and Salamence out with an Ice Beam. And with that, we've defeated the Elite Four again, and move on to the champion. As per the rules, we can't go use items in battle on our turn like a potion or a berry, but held items are okay, because Wailmer chooses when to use them. So I decided just to be safe for this battle, since we keep getting poisoned from Milotic's Toxic and Tentacruel's Sludge Bomb, I give Wailmer a Pecha Berry, which can cure poison. He'll hold this berry just for this fight, replacing the lax incense, which lowers the opponent's accuracy only by 5%. If we don't get poisoned, then we wasted an item slot being able to lower their accuracy. If we do get poisoned, then we at least fight it off for one turn. Although if he uses Toxic again, we're stuck with it. I just realized going into this battle, I'd been playing this for 23 hours, almost one day of my life, trying to beat Pokemon Emerald with the Wailmer. First up is Wailmer versus Wailord. We start off the battle with an Ice Beam for an easy chunk of damage while he uses Double Edge, before we finish it with a Rollout. Although we took Double Edges, so we lost a quarter of health on just his first Pokemon, we definitely can't sustain that. We hit Ludicolo with a strong Rollout, but unfortunately he survives with a sliver of health. And he uses Double Team, which is scary, since Rollout isn't perfect. Then Wallace uses a full restore, but miraculously, we nail Ludicolo with Rollout and avoid some big problems. So the reason I used Ice Beam on Wailord at the beginning and saved Rollout was I want to try to save a powered up Rollout for Tentacruel and Milotic, and it pays off, as Tentacruel gets one hit KO'd with Rollout, and we avoid getting poisoned from Toxic and Sludge Bomb. Milotic is out, and unfortunately Rollout is done, so we start over. It hits a weak Surf, thankfully attacking instead of using Toxic. We land a Rollout and just need one more to finish it. Milotic lands Toxic, and Wailmer has a snack and heals himself using his berry. Milotic also heals using a berry, so now we're completely vulnerable to Toxic. Milotic just healed, and we're relying on Rollout. Luck is on our side though, and we nail Rollout before getting poisoned again. A strong Rollout nearly knocks out Whiscash, but Wallace uses a full restore, and we miss the final Rollout. We switch to Surf because it's our strongest move, but the Amnesia is going to make Surf do much less damage. We get nailed by a Hyper Beam, which somehow does very little damage, and one more Surf puts it down, and Wailmer grows to level 99. Gyarados is out, and its Intimidate immediately cuts our attack, weakening our super effective Rollout. We switch to Ice Beam, bring him down to yellow health, and he just uses Dragon Dance. One more Ice Beam, and after 23 hours, we finally defeat the champion. I'm so proud of Wailmer to finally bring us all the way through to victory here, although we're not quite done yet. We speak to the scientists in the Weather Institute, who's tracking heavy rainfall in Hoenn. With that, we go find Kyogre in the Marine Cave. We battle the Ancient Legendary and trade a couple rollouts for Double Edge. 3 rollouts later and he's down. Seeing it disappear like that and not catching it was so painful. So now let's go do that again. We head back to the Weather Institute, where the scientist tells us he's been tracking droughts in Hoenn, so we head there to find Groudon. We battle against the Ancient Legendary, and one Surf hurts him bad. He uses a weak Fire Blast, and one more Surf puts him down. This really hurt me to put down the Legendaries. Now the final battle of the game against Steven in Meteor Falls. I have other Pokemon with me because we needed HM Pokemon to navigate Meteor Falls. We use Surf, taking out Skarmory with 2 of them, and Aggron goes down with just 1 Surf. A super effective Ice Beam does a lot against Cradily, and it hurts us with a heavy Giga Drain, but goes down to another Ice Beam. Claydol almost goes down to 1 Surf, but Steven uses a full restore, and gets off the light screen, so the next Surf does a lot less damage. Thankfully we take it down, but the light screen is still up. Surf doesn't do too much to Metagross, and thankfully it misses Psychic. It lands the next Psychic and the light screen wears off. We use a Surf and we would have knocked it out, but it used a berry to heal, and it hits us with a very strong Psychic. For the final battle, I decide we need more firepower to take down Steven, but since we're level 99, I decide to learn a more powerful move for this battle. We pay a visit to the Move Tutor in Fall Arbor Town, and in exchange for a Heart Scale, he helps us remember a move we forgot. He teaches Wailmer Water Spout, replacing Water Pulse. Water Spout is a 150 base damage move when you have full health, so this should help us a lot. Going into the battle, Wailmer has a Sea Incense to boost water type moves, and has Water Spout for maximum water type damage. Instead of 2 Surfs like last time, 1 Water Spout can easily take down Skarmory. To save power points, we use Surf against Aggron, since that should do the job just fine. We use a Surf against Cradily, for some reason, and thankfully it doesn't damage us while we come to our senses and use a super effective Ice Beam. Claydol goes down to 1 super effective Water Spout, and Steven sends out Metagross. Water Spout does a ton of damage, but doesn't quite score the knockout. He lands a Psychic and restores health using a berry, but a second Water Spout finishes it. Against Armaldo, we use our last Water Spout and defeat Steven. And after 23.5 hours, just shy of 1 full day, we finish this run. But before we finish, we head back to Fall Arbor Town and visit the scientist and collect the root fossil. Thank you for watching, and please leave a comment with your thoughts and what you'd like to see next. Have a great day.